Something huge just went down in women's basketball, and almost nobody saw it coming. Angel Reese, once hyped as the face of Unrivaled, just got fired from the very league she helped build. No warning, no statement, no injury excuse, just gone. And the way it happened? Quiet. Too quiet. The league didn't announce it, they didn't explain it. They simply erased her name from the roster. She never existed. And that silence said everything. The move shocked fans, but insiders? They're saying this wasn't sudden at all. The signs were there for months. Technical fouls stacking up, tension behind the scenes, and a reputation that started to burn hotter than her talent. Angel Reese was supposed to be women's basketball's biggest disruptor. Instead, she became its biggest cautionary tale. But here's the twist. The league didn't just cut a player. They made a statement about what kind of stars they actually want leading the future. Before we get deep into this one, make sure you hit like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the wild twists happening around Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and the chaos inside women's basketball right now. Because this story is far from over. So, how did one of the sport's brightest young stars go from being plastered on every Unrivaled poster to completely blacklisted? It starts with the league's second season roster drop. Every star player's name was there, except one. Angel Reese's name was missing. No footnote. No injury update. Just deleted. Fans went into meltdown mode. Was this an oversight or a message? The deeper you look, the clearer it gets. This wasn't a mistake. It was a breakup, and not the friendly kind. Remember when Angel first joined Unrivaled? She came in like a storm, confident, fiery, saying she'd bring swagger and change the game. For a while, it worked. She dominated early games, pulled in crowds, and had the cameras eating out of her hand. Every post-game interview felt like a viral clip waiting to happen. She was loud, unapologetic, and impossible to ignore. But soon, the same energy that built her brand started to burn bridges behind closed doors. Teammates reportedly noticed it first. The late arrivals, the body language, the me-first energy that crept into her game. The talk wasn't about her stats anymore, it was about her temper. Every technical foul, every sideline outburst chipped away at her image. The same fire that made her famous started to look like arrogance. And once you lose the locker room, you start losing everything. But the moment things really flipped was during the playoffs. When the lights were brightest, Angel didn't show up, literally. She skipped the playoff games altogether. Her team kept playing while she was at home, posting celebrations from her phone like a distant relative watching on FaceTime. Fans were stunned. Critics pounced. How can you call yourself a champion if you didn't even play the championship? That question never stopped echoing. From that point on, something shifted. Inside Unrivaled, executives started asking hard questions. Sure, she drew headlines, but were those headlines helping? Or just creating chaos? They noticed a pattern. Every time Angel trended, it wasn't for a highlight reel. It was for drama. And that's when sponsors started to back away. Big brands want clean stories, not locker room soap operas. Suddenly, the same league that built its identity around her energy began rethinking whether the spotlight was worth the heat. And here's where it gets wild. Because this wasn't just about basketball. Angel Reese had mastered the art of being viral. She knew how to turn trash talk into clicks, emotion into engagement. Her clips hit millions of views, but Unrivaled's analytics told a different story. All those viral moments weren't converting into real fans. The numbers fell off a cliff after opening weekend. TV audiences dropped by 2/3. The drama was bringing attention, but not loyalty. And that's fatal in sports. Behind closed doors, league execs started using a new phrase: diminishing returns. Angel's personality was bringing more chaos than cash. Sure, she could move social media numbers, but she couldn't move tickets. The audience was tuning in for the fights, not the game. Sponsors saw the same thing. a brand built on controversy, not consistency. And when the Unrivaled board sat down to plan Season 2, they made a brutal decision. No more circus, no more confusion, no more Angel Reese. It's ironic because Angel once bragged about putting Unrivaled on the map. And in a way, she did. But once the league realized her drama wasn't sustainable, they decided to clean house. They wanted stability. They wanted professionalism. And Angel's brand didn't fit that vision anymore. Instead of a press conference or dramatic announcement, they chose silence. They skipped her name on the roster, Mike, and let the fans do the talking for them. The message was clear. This time, they weren't waiting for her to walk out. They locked the door behind her. Now, you might think that's harsh, but in pro sports, reputation is currency. And Angels had taken a hit far beyond unrivaled. Over in the WNBA, her rookie season with the Chicago Sky started strong, but ended in another controversy. First, a wrist injury sidelined her early. Then a back problem cut her sophomore year short. But here's what raised eyebrows. Even while injured, she was seen at events doing photo shoots, brand deals, appearances. Fans noticed the disconnect. Coaches noticed too. Some reportedly questioned whether her priorities were aligned with the team at all. And if you're thinking that might have been exaggerated, think again. League insiders claim her absence during critical games wasn't about health, it was about focus. A pattern was forming. High energy early, followed by burnout, followed by drama. And for the Sky, it was déjà vu. Teammates started whispering about reliability. Coaches wondered if she'd show up when it mattered. Sponsors? They just wanted out of the crossfire. By the time Unrivaled's off-season planning started, the writing was on the wall. They didn't need another PR nightmare. They needed to rebuild trust with fans, with investors, with players who were tired of being part of someone else's headlines. Angel Reese had become a brand bigger than her box scores, but smaller than her controversy. And that's when Unrivaled made their quietest, smartest, coldest move yet. Cut the chaos and start over. But here's the twist most people missed. This decision wasn't just about one player. It symbolized a shift in women's basketball itself. For years, leagues chased virality. They thought drama was the secret sauce. But Unrivaled learned the hard way. Virality fades, professionalism lasts. And they found their new poster child in someone who couldn't be more different. Caitlin Clark. Think about it. While Angel Reese was dominating headlines, Caitlin Clark was dominating games. She wasn't trending for feuds or eye rolls, she was trending for three-pointers, assists, and leadership. Her highlights weren't about shouting, they were about precision. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Where Angel's energy exploded outward, Caitlin's focus pulled everyone inward. That's what sponsors want. That's what fans trust. That's what wins. In just 2 seasons, Caitlin Clark helped transform the Indiana Fever into one of the most respected teams in the league. Attendance skyrocketed. Merch sales hit records. Families started showing up with their daughters wearing Fever jerseys. Meanwhile, the same brands that once banked on Angel's personality were quietly redirecting their ad dollars toward Clark's consistency. The message couldn't be clearer. The game is moving past personality wars. And honestly, this shift feels overdue. For too long, women's sports have been underestimated, forced to rely on controversy to stay in headlines. But the real power, it's in performance. And Caitlin Clark embodies that. Coaches rave about her adaptability. Teammates say she makes everyone better. She doesn't chase the spotlight, you just finds her. And that's the difference. Angel played for attention. Caitlin plays for legacy. Still, you can't deny Angel Reese's impact. She brought a level of attention women's basketball hadn't seen in years. She made people talk. She made people care. But somewhere along the line, the performance couldn't match the persona. And that's when everything started collapsing. The Unrivaled League realized it couldn't build its future on a player whose story overshadowed the sport. The same fire that made her a star became too unpredictable to control. And when the numbers started confirming what everyone already felt, that the audience wasn't sticking around, the league made its choice. Less drama, more direction. That's why the Season 2 announcement skipped her entirely. It wasn't about embarrassment. It was about evolution. They weren't firing her out of spite. They were protecting their brand from becoming another viral circus. Behind the scenes, that decision sent shockwaves. Sponsors reportedly applauded it. Executives breathed a sigh of relief. And players who'd grown tired of being dragged into the chaos, they finally felt heard. The new standard was set. Charisma is great, but consistency is everything. If you can't show up when it matters, you can't lead the show. And it's not just Unrivaled making this shift. Across women's basketball, there's a new blueprint forming. Look at the Fever, look at the Aces, even college programs. They're rewarding players who bring structure, not just sparks, because that's what builds lasting fandom, people who root for reliability. Angel Reese's story became the warning shot for a whole generation of players who might think clout equals commitment. It doesn't. Still, here's the part that makes it so fascinating. Angel isn't done. She's too polarizing, too magnetic to just vanish. She's the kind of figure who thrives in reinvention. Maybe she takes this as a wake-up call. Maybe she doubles down and proves everyone wrong. Or maybe this is the moment women's basketball finally decides what kind of stars it wants. Because this isn't just about one athlete's downfall, it's about what happens when leagues finally say, enough. For Unrivaled, it's about protecting the culture they're trying to build. The quiet removal of Angel Reese wasn't an act of cruelty. It was a reset button, a line in the sand. No matter how famous you are, no matter how viral your highlights go, if you don't bring commitment, you don't belong. The league is betting that the audience values teamwork over tantrums, and based on how the numbers look now, they might be right. Fans have changed too. They're smarter, more selective, more loyal to authenticity. They can tell when someone's performing for the camera versus performing for the team. That's why people are gravitating toward players like Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and others who are quietly redefining what leadership looks like. They don't need chaos to make headlines. They let the game speak. And maybe that's the lesson Angel's story leaves behind. Charisma might get you in the door, but character is what keeps you there. For a while, Angel had both. She was electric, but somewhere the spark turned into smoke. And when the league realized that smoke was choking its own growth, they had to make the hard call, remove the noise, rebuild the trust, reclaim the future. Still, you can't help but wonder, what if she comes back stronger? What if she learns from this and proves she can be both fierce and focused? Sports love a redemption arc, and Angel Reese might still have one left in her. But for now, Unrivaled has moved on. The silence of her removal says everything the press release didn't need to. Accountability has entered the chat, and that's what makes this moment historic. Women's basketball just took a massive leap, from chasing clicks to demanding credibility. Angel Reese's firing wasn't just a personnel move, it was a cultural statement. The game is bigger than any one personality now. The focus is shifting toward players who build, not break, who elevate, not dominate, who understand that leadership isn't about noise, it's about trust. So as the next season of Unrivaled tips off, the question isn't just who's playing, it's who's listening. Because every player watching this unfold just learned the same hard truth Angel did. The spotlight doesn't make you untouchable, it makes you accountable. And in a way, that's progress. Because for women's basketball to keep growing, it has to outgrow the chaos. Angel Reese's story might be messy, but it forced the sport to evolve. The drama opened the door, but discipline will keep it open. And right now, it looks like leagues, sponsors, and fans are all walking through together, leaving the noise behind. So maybe this isn't the end of Angel Reese's career. Maybe it's the beginning of her reality check. The question is, will she rise from it? Or will she keep repeating the same cycle until the sport she helped spotlight moves on without her? one thing's certain, the game has changed. And this time, it's not waiting for anyone to catch up. Because in the end, Unrivaled didn't just fire Angel Reese. They fired the idea that controversy equals success. They drew the line, and for the first time, everyone seems ready to play by new rules.